Ribbon blackout. Welcome back to Shade Tree Hot Rods, where we're taking junk and making it usable junk.
So originally we were going to cut it about here, follow the shock tower down, but that just takes out a lot of very important components, okay? So we're going to do a quick pivot. So now we're going to take, hey, easy killer. We have a big rust hole right here, okay? I can just put my hand through. It's not a good time. So we're going to take the Sawzall and we're going to run it across the top of the frame, because this is also trash. We're going to run it down to just a little bit before this steering rack, okay? We're going to cut the frame down, because that's where we start getting good solid frame again, okay? Where it's just surface rust, we can deal with that. Then we're going to come right here and we're just going to go up in between this brake line and this seam for the shock tower. I would like to keep that in place. Run it up and whoop, take that off. And then we're going to cut right on this lip right here, because there's a bracket under here, but we can shoot the gap and go whoop, take this off. All of that should come off, and it should not be that bad to put back together, he said sarcastically.
Easier said than done.
Oh, you're gonna let me? Oh, you've never seen me with a hacksaw, have you? This is a bad idea. Yes, it has been a long time. I have no excuses other than I haven't been doing anything, but we're back. You may notice this part of the car is different than this part of the car. God, I hope you can see this. This part of the car, this part of the car. Now, why did I do that? This is part of the frame that we cut off, and as you can see, rusted a hole through here. There's a lot of this just isn't just surface rust, okay? And this is some important stuff, like the stud where the what is that called? The cradle goes onto. Now, while this stud may be fine, the metal around it wasn't, and I didn't want to mess with that. So I decided, let's just rebuild it. I have no experience in this, but we're gonna do it anyways. So, as you saw when I held it up, there are like square areas, there are open areas of the chassis that I could put some stuff in order to make it strong, which I did. I put, I think it was 8-inch plate. I put a piece here, and I put a piece like running this way, and I put a piece right here, and the same thing for right here, okay? So that's my structure. You can see where I've welded and ground it down. This will need some more fill. We'll get to that when we get to it. My current problem is I have about a 1/2 inch wide slit right here. It narrows down and then it kind of widens back out, whatever, okay? So our current plan is we need to get all this welded up. My welds are very much not good. I'm gonna blame it on the rheostat for my bolt setting on my welder being bad. I have one on the way. That may not even fix the problem. I may just be a bad welder. Doesn't matter. So the first thing that we're gonna do is I'm going to get a piece of cardboard. I'm gonna stick it back here. I'm gonna bring you guys in for this part. Stick it right here. I'm gonna trace it, and then I'm going to make the markings that I need. I have a piece of sheet metal that we're gonna cut what we need out of it, and I have this special little tool that I'll just show you. So this is an air punch flange. It's professional grade because we are professionals here. Now, what this does is you will stick. This is pneumatic, so I have to put an air fitting in here. That's okay. Basically, you'll stick your sheet metal into here, and you'll squeeze this trigger. This will come up, and it'll make a little crimp right here, right? So what that's going to allow us to do is it'll give us a little flange, a little wing that we can put on the back side. We're going to, I think, rivet it. I bought some rivets. I also bought some number 10 taps, but I think those are too big. So we're going to rivet it to hold it in place. And then we're going to tack everything up, and then we're going to get rid of the rivets, and we're going to do our best to weld down, make sure that seemed, you know, pretty strong and covered, grind it down. I'm trying to make this look as good as I can, as factory as I can manage. It's probably not going to be that factory, But the way I understand it, the panel gaps were very, very loose on these cars. So if I can just get closer, I'll be okay. Anyways, let's get that marked. I don't know how well this is gonna come across. So I ended up using paper instead of cardboard and scissors to cut it out because it was a lot more accurate. The cardboard just kept tearing. These two internal lines are the very rough design of the gap that we have to fill, right? Then I took a measurement of what kind of a flange we're gonna have with that tool, and it came out to about 0.46 inches. Could you have done a 1/2 inch? Probably, you know, it was right there. I'm not that precise, right? Anyways, so what I did is I held this tooth on the line, and I put my Sharpie on the other one, and I just traced it, okay? So now, I'm gonna get my angle grinder. I'm gonna cut out this outside line. Thank you. And then, I'm going to use this inside line as the mark to line it up with on the tool, which I will show you. I'm just working it out in my mind because I've never used this stuff before. Anyways, let's cut this. Alright, so it's pretty much what I got. This is the top, this is the bottom. Well, bottom part of what I cut. Does it look great? Yes, if you close your eyes really hard and turn around, it looks fantastic. But it really just needs to be close enough, and I can make the rest happen. So let's do that. So I figure I'll show you guys how it works. But so you see how it's kind of made a little, again, not perfect, but you see how it's making a lip, you know, like it's kind of raising this portion right here. That's what this machine does. So let's try to do this from you guys' point of view. All right, so you see the teeth right here. We're gonna line it up right there and hit the button. See that? How it kind of crimps it? Like that. And that is gonna be our piece. Now the part is I gotta kind of bend it down. Well, dadgummit, I did it backwards. That kind of defeats the purpose. I put the crimps on the wrong side. I may have to cut this out again. That's unfortunate. That's what that is. See? This is what happens. You learn. Alright, so as you can see, it's pretty close. Oh my gosh. It's close enough that I can make the rest work. So now, we need to drill a bunch of holes in this, and then drill the accompanying holes in this afterward, and then rivets. Find a way to get in here with this bad boy, stick it in. Okay, there's that one. And we'll realign, move down a little bit, make another one on the other side, and just kind of work our way down best I can. Now comes the fun time, the welding. So I'm gonna do a couple tacks, try to get this bit in place, and then, I don't know, we'll see what happens next, but we're just gonna try to get all this put together. I'll grind off the rivets, weld up the front side, weld up the back side, smooth everything out pretty well, and hopefully, with the grinding and some paint, it'll look really, really good. So, I will see y'all when that part is done. You're trying your best to make it look pretty good, and you're not a good fabricator. You end up with stuff like this, okay? Now, I cut that way too deep. There's actually, I cut the weld out. But that's okay. We're gonna try to grind all this pretty low, smooth it at least. Very similar to like what I did over here. This is still gonna take some touch up with a flap wheel. Okay, we're not really worried about that right now. Most of this is gonna be hidden, but I know it's gonna be there. So, what our plan is, we're gonna smooth all this out. I gotta fill this in with a little bit of weld after I smooth it back down because I don't want any massive pockets. Fill this hole, and then a lot more holes. And that's okay. Because we already have our structural welds. Here, you know, we went over that. this is a big no-no word, apparently, but I am going to use Bondo just for the sake of making things smooth. Eventually. I still have an hour, 2 hours of grinding to do, because you know what they say? If you can't tie a knot, tie a lot. If you can't lay a bead, lay a lot of bead. But that is okay, because we're learning. So, I'm going to get back to grinding. So, ignore the cicadas in the background, but we have made a lot of progress since we last talked. I'm not showing everything because I showed you guys where I'm welding. It's just welding and grinding with a half-skilled welder, okay? We had a nice little gap here, and I'm kind of doing an experiment. This is steel stick. What is steel stick? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Steel stick is this very nifty putty, right? And I'm sure it's, yeah, steel reinforced epoxy putty, okay? It's like 10 bucks at AutoZone. Now, is that the proper way to do this? No, but we're doing it on non-crucial areas, and we're using actual sheet metal to back the more crucial areas. So, steel stick, it comes in this tube, and as you can see, it's two different colors in there. It's like a gray and a black, right? You need to roll that together super good, and I highly recommend gloves. Number one, this thing stinks. Number two, sticky, because it's a putty. Anyways, I kind of just glooped it on here. I haven't sanded this one down perfectly yet, but you can see what's kind of going on. I'm just kind of filling a seam, right? We are going to be going back with epoxy on these seams just to, not epoxy, Bondo, just to make it flush, like just a purely visual thing, right? You can see here, I kind of blew through when I was trying to grind. Oopsie poopsie. Let's touch it back up, but these are looking pretty good. All through there, all down there. And then we're not going to talk about this. Gum that up nice and well, so I got a lot of material to grind off. And then here and here are more steel stick areas. So these little pits and imperfections and whatever, I'm going to go back over this with a grinder, obviously, because there's some weld right there. But like these little holes and whatnot, it's going to get filled in. Okay, I'm not worried about it. I would keep welding, but I am essentially out of wire, which is a first for me. I haven't used a welder that much, so it's a big moment for P. So the next step is we got to grind everything back down that we've kind of fiddled with. I need to get some more wire so I can finish filling. I got a hole right here that was just, it was there when I got this piece, and then this bit up here, up through here, and then this. I gotta weld all that together, filled in somehow, whether it be steel stick, whether it be a piece of plate, whether it be hopes and dreams, I don't know. Oh yeah, and I got this underside too. So I can get this little bit right here. Oh, I can get this little bit right here, but I can't really get a plate back behind there. I mean, I'm sure I can if I really played with it, but I don't know if I want to. Oh, there's more. There's more steel stick right there. I gotta sand that down too. This car is rough. It needs a lot of work, but that's okay because we're having fun, right? This is fun. We're having fun. Hi there. It's been a couple of weeks. I have recorded nothing in that time. However, I have still been working just in spats. You can see I have applied Bondo, right? Now, calm down. It's not just Bondo, okay? I didn't just Bondo over some holes and call them good. There's weld that I've ground down underneath everything under here, okay? The only reason there is Bondo is just to seam everything, or to make everything a little more seamless, okay? Make it smoother, to hide my errors, you know? So I've hit everything with an 80. Oh, I have not hit this area. Okay, well, I've hit just about everything with an 80 grit, and I'm gonna go back. I have 120 and then 220, I think. I'm gonna try to get everything nice and smooth, get this all ready, because eventually we are gonna paint the engine bay. But because I haven't been recording much, there's gonna be more to this video. There's a piece under the driver's side footwell that is rotted out. I'm gonna have to cut out and patch it. I'm just gonna use some of that sheet metal over there and that crimper tool that you guys saw earlier in the video, and rivets, and then probably Bondo, honestly. I'm gonna put a lot of rivets in there for strength, and I'm just gonna Bondo over it for sealant properties. Okay, so we got the body put back together, right? Already went through that. And I said, oh, we're going to be doing, you know, this and then patching the floor pan all in one video. We're not. We're definitely not. You'll see in the next video somewhere, there's a lot more damage to be covered in, okay? I've already cut a little bit out, pulled the interior out because there's a lot to do. So, may not have been the most informative video. This is more just me learning how to do stuff like this as long as it takes, you know? Anyways, thanks for watching. It's been Shade Tree Hot Rods. Got a whole bunch of work to do to this nasty girl, so follow along. I'll probably upload once every 6 months to a year at this rate, but I do appreciate you viewing. Thank you. See ya.